Initialize sequence. You're tuned in to IntellectualRadio-Podcast.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to your weekly dose of R&R on Intellectual Radio, where you relax your mind,
ease your body,
feel your heart,
and free your spirit with a little R&R.
And we are your hosts on this podcast.
I'm DeAndre Rudis.
I am Raven Hoffman.
And together, we are your hosts for this podcast. And so today, we'll be discussing mental health. We have a common enemy in our communities now. When we talk about trauma, we talk about mental health and depression, anxiety, all of these things that are triggered by the environment we live in. And so what Raven and I wanted to do is present mental health in a fundamental way so that you can learn something, so that you can take it back to the community, and so that we can heal where our hurt is. And so I just want a little bit of a backdrop. So Raven and I, we met just, by happenstance. Just by happenstance. She works at Cooper's Hawk. I'm not gonna tell you which one because y'all ain't finna be chasing her down. You feel me? But we So I met her at Cooper's Hawk, and as I usually do, I like to ask people what do they do in regards to education. It just turns out that Raven herself is a clinician, a clinical therapist. And so I was like, myself being a business psychologist, that's dope, different form of psychology, but still nonetheless, we work with the mind. And so from there, we just sporadically said, hey, let's just do a podcast. So we literally have been building to this point for about 6 weeks. And we are still fresh to knowing each other. So we slip up a little bit.
Exactly.
Hey, just let us pass, man. Let us pass. But that being said, though, this podcast, again, centers on mental health. And it stems from, we're looking at it from a personal and professional standpoint. And so to get a better understanding of who we are so that you guys can continue to tune into us on Intellectual Radio every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Bi-weekly.
11 a.m. At 11 a.m.
We essentially want to do like this interview style of introduction, right? And so I'm going to kick it off by talking to Raven. And so my first question is, Raven, why are you hosting a podcast about mental health?
I am hosting a podcast about mental health because I feel like mental health is a topic that's really not discussed in the Black community. I feel like mental health it's ashamed on, it looked down on, and I just feel like African American and Black community as a whole, they need to be educated on like what mental health is. And I feel like starting this podcast, from my personal experience, I feel like I have a voice and I'm able to educate the Black community on what mental health is and how to deal with that in a more positive manner.
I appreciate that. Yeah, definitely answer my question. And I just love the fact that you're willing to get out here and do this work. This work involves a lot of, again, I'm going to go back to that word trauma, which is going to be continuously used throughout this podcast, throughout the time of y'all listening, because a lot of us are dealing with traumas on a daily basis that we haven't even discovered. And so I appreciate you forging this relationship with me and being able to bring this content in front of these viewers. And speaking of viewers, I want y'all to know that y'all can follow us on Instagram. We're on Facebook, Raven and Rudis. That's all you got to look for. My last name is Rutues because I know that's going to be the hardest part.
I even spell it wrong all the time.
You feel me? So please follow us. We will be taking comments, questions, concerns, anything that has to do with mental health where we can answer, we will. And we will also get you the answers if we can't do it ourselves. So please follow us, Facebook, Instagram.
Email us. We got a Gmail. Yes. So please, if you want us, ask us any questions. If you want your questions to be anonymous, please let us know. We won't put your business out on blast. So yeah. What's your next?
All right, let me see. All right. So Raven, I spoke about the fact that you're a clinical therapist. Hopefully I'm not wrong in doing so. I'm trying to remember the exact job that you do. But if I'm wrong, please let us know exactly what it is you do. And then let us know what did you get out of doing that type of work.
Okay, so currently I work in a hospital. I work at North Shore Hospital, and I am a mental health counselor on an inpatient psychiatric unit. working in this field, I feel like making an impact on other people's lives. I deal with adults that deal with bipolar, schizophrenia, depression, anxiety disorder, postpartum depression, and just being able to give people that extra hope in life. And like, you know what, whatever it is I'm going through, I can still accomplish my goals. And you can't let your mental health or your mental illness, like, you can't let that stop you from what you accomplish in life. Like, you are an individual, but don't let that mental illness define who you are as a person. Like, it's
Absolutely.
just a disorder that doesn't define who you are. And I just feel like me, what I've been through in life, and I just feel like, working in this field, I can just share people my experience. I accomplished my goals. I dealt with it, and go to therapy, and there's nothing wrong with going to therapy.
Not at all.
Nothing wrong with going with therapy.
I've been to quite a few myself, so it helps.
So, I mean, that's pretty much why I chose this field. And, currently I am in grad school, so I can become that licensed clinical therapist, become a Black therapist, and just, helping my community and just being able to let them talk to someone that, been through it, that been through their experience. And so.
Okay, I hear you.
Yeah.
So apparently I was wrong, guys. She is not a clinical. We speak it into existence.
Exactly.
So, you feel me? So she's a clinical therapist. She's doing the work. All right. Off what you were just saying, and essentially you were saying that you've dealt with mental health issues. So I just like for you to just let us know, what were you, not necessarily where were you dealing with, you don't have to get in depth, but just let us know what's your experiences essentially with mental health.
So pretty much my experience, just to give you guys a brief summary, there was a point in my life where I wasn't unhappy. I tried to commit suicide, ran away from home, and I was just really in this dark place. And I just feel like going to therapy and going to anger management made me the woman who I am today. It gave me the guidance to become a better person. And I just feel like, I feel like Black people see therapists as like, oh, I don't want somebody judging me. But no, this is somebody that you don't know who is biased, and that's gone. And I just feel like I had so much hurt and anger inside of me, and you just got to let it out.
Yeah.
Like, just let it out to somebody. Like, you never know what a person is going through mentally, physically, emotionally. And I just feel like you don't want to take all that hurt and anger onto your job. Like, you go to work to do what you need to do. Like, whatever you got going on at home, that stays at home. And I just feel like there was a point in my life where I wasn't happy. And I just feel like therapy saved my life. And I just feel like, what I've been through, granted, I am 26, but I have been through a lot.
Baby.
And I am. But it made me a more stronger, confident, and powerful woman. And I don't regret anything, because I feel like, with the challenges I face in life, it made me a stronger person at the end of the day. And, that's why I chose this career. And this is like my mental health experience, and where I have a little insight on everything.
Okay.
So go to therapy. There's nothing wrong with going to therapy. Check it out. And also, you can, if you don't have the funding, or if you don't have money to go see a therapist, you can use it with your health insurance.
Get that health insurance and
if
use
you
that health
have
insurance.
health insurance, you can go seek therapy. Like, there's nothing wrong with therapy at all. Just talk to somebody, y'all.
Oh yeah, we around here. We definitely gonna be breaking generational curses, and we're gonna be lifting the stigmas, and we're gonna be unveiling and rolling back the carpet and getting that dust from up under there. It's sat way too long, and when allowed to fester, we have all type of issues associated, especially in our bodies as it relates to poor mental health. And so this is definitely to bring more clarity to a subject that is rarely touched on in our community, and definitely needs. So we are filling that void. So please look for us on IntellectualRadio.com and where all podcasts are. This again is a daily dose of R&R. I'm DeAndre Rudis.
I'm Raven Hoffman.
Just in case you didn't know, you're just checking in. And so continuing with the conversation, and again, I'm just interviewing Raven just to find out a little bit about her, because I don't know who I'm working with, guys. I'm trying to tell y'all.
He's in good hands, you guys, okay? I'm not that
bad. So, Raven, what do you hope to accomplish with this podcast?
To accomplish from this podcast, I feel like, I want viewers from Illinois, from New York. I just want to be worldwide, nationwide. And I just feel like with this podcast, we are going to be discussing different topics, so how mental health can relate into your personal life, your business life, your relationship, school, work, and etc. And I just want to give the Black community something to listen to, just to educate their minds, educate the youth, adults, and give people a different perspective on what mental health is. And if you are struggling with mental health, listen to this podcast and we can teach you many coping skills on how to deal with it in a healthy manner.
Absolutely.
And also with this podcast, we will be hosting uplifting events in the summer, in the spring. So you can meet us face to face
Absolutely.
and ask us, question on like,
Absolutely.
what inspired us or what motivated us. And I just feel like what really inspired and motivated me is just like making an impact, rather it's on one person's life to 10 people's life. I'm not going to be able to save everybody, but if I'm able to save that one person from committing suicide or jumping off the bridge, or who's dealing with anxiety, listening to me
Mhm.
and them hearing from my experience and learning from what I dealt with or how I deal with it in a healthy manner. So that's pretty much what I'm trying to
I love it.
accomplish. And we got our shirts, love, acceptance, and growth.
Love, acceptance, growth.
And
Absolutely.
I just want to be able to speak at more schools, more boys and girls club, hosting events, and I just want to, educate the youth, educate
Let's get it.
adults from the west side to the south
Let's
side
get
to
it.
the north side to the east side about our podcast.
Our community definitely needs educating in this area, and I'm sure, just like I am, they will be happy to have you being a spokesperson for mental health, because you have the background, you have the experience, and you have obviously the education is what you're pursuing, and so I'm sure you will be very knowledgeable on these subjects. So please ask Raven anything you need to know about mental health. And again, if she can't answer your question, then we'll find somebody that can, because we will be having experts in the mental health field, generally every third Wednesday. Please don't, please hold that to our charge that to our hearts and not
Agreed.
our head, because as of right now we still getting this thing together, but we will have experts in the field coming out and speaking with everybody in regards to the different mental health challenges that exist in today's society. And so with this one, I'm gonna get a little bit more deeper, and somebody getting told on right now. So I
All
just
right.
I need to know, why do you think there's such a stigma placed on therapy in the Black community?
I feel like Black people see mental health as the blues. Like
Okay.
they really don't know what depression is. Or they don't know how to deal with mental illness, or they just like, oh, this person just crazy, or they acting out. Or and I just feel like, for example, like if your child is in school and they say like, oh, Keisha, Rashad is acting out, like, go see what's wrong with your child. Because I feel like in a Caucasian community, if something is wrong with their child, they're going to see, they're going to check, they're going to go to therapy, they're going to see what's wrong with their child. And it's just like, I feel like mental health starts at home.
Yeah. I don't even let me just real quick. I just want to interject that again, going back with this word trauma. These kids are experiencing childhood trauma,
PTSD.
and we don't know the exact signs of it, right? But when children who are typically active start to become more shy, that's a sign of trauma. These kids, they see gun violence on a daily basis. Some of them are being at home being touched. I'm keeping it real with y'all today.
Agreed.
Some of them being preyed on by people that they thought would never do them any harm, right? And so these kids are carrying this trauma, and they take it to school, right?
And they isolate themselves and they don't want to talk to other people. And I just feel like when I went to a school, like I had spoke at a school like a couple months ago last year, and I spoke to sixth grade, seventh grade, and eighth graders. And it like legit really broke my heart to hear that sixth graders want to commit suicide.
Right.
Like you have your whole life ahead of you. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I just feel like us starting this podcast, having the voice and just in and next stigma on the Black community about mental health. Like there's nothing wrong with if you're dealing with depression, anxiety, PTSD, postpartum, or whatever you're dealing with, schizophrenia, deal with it. Go seek help. Go seek therapy. Like this is your
And stay
life.
off the pills. It's not about the pills all the time.
It's not. And I really want to talk about mental health versus religious health. Like
we'll get into that. Oh, that's a topic. Oh,
that's definitely
y'all got to show up, because y'all know that's gonna be kind of
definitely
controversial.
Going to be a topic, and I'm not gonna go in too deep into it.
Yeah.
But I'll just say that you can still go to church,
yeah,
and still pray to God, and you can still go see therapy.
Mm.
Like you can't pray to God like, oh, I want this job, I want this and that, but you're not putting in the work.
That's an amen. I'm with
put
you.
in the work.
I'm with you. I'm with
So
you. All right. So if you've gone to see a therapist and you did say the days are looking brighter. So can you tell us exactly um, what has going to a therapist given to you or, and or replaced in some cases? And what exactly is your mental health outlook? Like, how do you feel? How do you think? Like, what's going on now that you saw this therapist?
pretty much how I cope with things. Trust me, you guys, I'm not perfect at all. I still go through things to this day, but that's why I still have a therapist. And when I'm not able to go to therapy, I read a lot.
Okay.
I read a lot. I meditate. I take self-love baths. I got my sage, my crystals, and it's just like just releasing that negative energy. And I just feel like you are the people that you hang around. And if you be around an environment that's gonna water you and not drain you dry, that's pretty much what I learned as I got older. Like you got to be around people that's gonna love you and support you and motivate you to want to do better. You don't want to be
Yeah.
around anybody that's envious of you, jealous of you, preying on your downfall. And I just feel like therapy like really helped me, and it actually like gave me that extra hope in life. Like,
Okay.
you know what? Every choice in life you make that choice. You only have one life. Can't nobody walk in your shoes but you. And
Don't judge my story by the chapter you walked in on.
agreed.
You hear me?
So and I just feel like, therapy really helped me out. Like, I'm not like I feel like back then I was like real angry. My attitude was really horrible. And it's just like, how far are you going to get in life with that type of attitude? So it made me a more wiser person, and I'm also learning to not let the little things in life get to me.
Okay.
And I just feel like, I can be a little impatient.
Okay.
And I just feel like, God not going to give you something that you're not ready for.
Absolutely.
You can manifest all the things you want, but it's not going to happen until you're ready for it. And that's pretty much what I'm learning. Therapy, like it really helped me out. Reading books,
Okay.
if you're not in school, I would say like read many self-help books. Even before I even started grad school, I was like a reading junkie. And I just feel like everything that you read in life, apply that into your everyday life. Don't let social media or the big hype get you down. I just feel like social media is such a big hype.
Yeah.
If you're not pretty much, the followers that you following, like are they helping you grow in life? Are you learning something from following these people?
Yeah.
And it's like if you're not learning anything, why are you following them? Clean house.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
You gotta free your spirit, so to say. You know what I mean?
right, release all that negative energy.
Release all the negative energy, bring back the positive, the good.
You got to add more value
There's
to
a
your
lot
life.
of good in this world, even though we're inundated with a lot of negative, the news and
Agreed.
the gossip and the social media. If you believe that is what life actually has to offer, then you probably are one who needs to start to alter your mental mindset, because the world is vast and there's a lot of beauty here in this world that is just dying to be
Agreed.
experienced. And if you allow negativity to rule the day, then you've already lost the battle. And over here, we're going to keep fighting, and we're going to give you some tips, tricks, and tools in order to keep fighting. And so tune into this podcast again every Wednesday, every other Wednesday, pardon me, bi-weekly.
Agreed.
We're doing it bi-weekly at 11 a.m. on IntellectualRadio.com. This is Daily Dose of R&R.
Daily Dose.
DeAndre Rudis.
I am Raven Hoffman.
Yes. And that's what we're doing. We here to bring mental health to you all from a professional and a personal standpoint.
Agreed.
And so we want to make sure that we start to heal our people, and we're going to do it in any
every
way
day.
that we can.
Starting off small, rather it's 110 people.
Yeah.
We
absolutely.
saving somebody.
Somebody is going to get saved.
Any more questions, comments, concerns?
Let me see what you got.
Anybody that's on live, y'all have any questions or comments for me?
You can say something. It's all good. I see y'all waving.
I'm an open book. I'm an open book a little bit,
I mean?
Depending on what you ask.
Speaking of, you can find us on Raven and Rudis on Facebook,
Instagram. Email us.
Ravens@gmail.
Ask us any questions.
Yeah.
You got any questions for me?
Yeah, let me see what kind of questions I got for you. I don't want to get too heavy.
Go ahead, just throw the heavy questions out, y'all.
Nah, we ain't gonna get too heavy, y'all. Y'all gotta learn us first. Y'all try to get into our business. Y'all don't even know who we are.
Ask the heavy questions. One last heavy questions, and then we're gonna turn it over to you, and I'm gonna ask my questions.
All right. So Well, no, I don't really want to go heavy. Like I say, I want to keep it positive. I want to know what's your goal for this year?
Oh, my goal in 2020, um, I'm not really prepared. I just feel like the goals that I have set for me, I'm not only preparing for 2020, but I'm also preparing myself for 2021, 22, and so on. And I just feel like everything that I do in life is a reflection of how my future is going to be for me. So I don't want to go into deep about, what's my goal or what I'm trying to accomplish in life. But I would say my
Okay.
daily goal is to continue to learn, grow, and develop and become a better version of Raven each and every day.
Okay.
Um, yeah, that's pretty much it. And just having a positive mindset, positive energy, positive vibes, being around family and friends that love and support me. Just having a positive mindset and just continue to read and continue to learn and grow each and every day. And I just feel like that's going to lead me into whatever direction I am going into. And it's not about the speed, it's about the direction that you are going into in life. It's not a race, it's not a it's not a race, it's not a marathon, it's not a race, it's a marathon.
Absolutely.
So that's pretty much it. So that's my goal in life: continue learning and growing each and every day, become a better version of me, and that's gonna lead me into where I need to be into today, the next months, next couple of weeks, next couple of
Yeah.
years.
Well, that's
So
a hell of a goal, and
yeah,
it's actually doable. Great mindset to have. It's nice to meet you.
you irritating y'all.
I bet. What you got for me?
All right. So now, you guys, he's done asking his question. Again, if you have any questions that you want to ask me, whether it's personal, about mental health, or if you're struggling with mental health, please email us, write us on Facebook, message us, or if you want to be anonymous, please let us know. We won't put your business out on blast. Now it's time for me to ask DeAndre his question. He asked me my questions about me, my life, who am I, so you guys can get a glimpse of, who is Raven and Rudis talking
Absolutely.
about mental health, like what these people know. We know a little
Little
something.
something.
Something. All right. So my first question for DeAndre Rudis:
Yeah.
who are you?
Um.
Who
So
is DeAndre
I
Rudis?
am DeAndre Rudis, spelled DeOndreRudes.
He got
Gotta give you my
apostrophe, y'all.
full with the yes. Got a little accent at the end of that E too, because it's DeAndre. You feel me? Hey, that last name French, and so was the first one. You hear me? So listen,
It's not.
I play a lot. I play a lot. All right. So DeAndre Rudis is a former automatic candidate. I ran for the 37th ward in 2019. Very, very, very big ally of the community. I really want to see the Black community in a different position than we currently are. And I believe that I have the sauce to get it done.
He got the
And so
sauce,
we run it
y'all.
again. You feel me? In 2023. 2020, yes, yeah, we'll be back there in 2023. Look for me. I'm a mentor. I'm an educator. I teach at the high school I graduated from, Austin High School. Shout out to the West Side, all my Austin people. Y'all know who it is. You probably didn't like me, and I didn't like me either. I'm gonna be honest with you. So we gonna get into that. We gonna get into that though. And so, I teach at the high school. I'm so happy that I'm able to even go back to the high school and talk to the youth about different things, even though they don't want to hear it. At least I try. I remember those days. So we just gonna stick with them because I love the youth for real. They the future. They up next.
They are.
They
That's
up
why we
now.
helping
Let's
them.
get them now. They up now. I am a PhD student currently working on my doctorate.
Come on for these
Hey
black
man, hey
doctors
man,
out here,
hey.
y'all.
Can I get a clap? Can I get one clap? I see y'all watching. Now listen. So working
Come
on
on
my
for the black
PhD as
doctors
a
out here.
business psychologist, which is totally a niche, a niche field to get into. Niche. And so my job is to explain to you all what a business psychologist is and tell you why that is important for mental health. And so other things that I'm involved in, huge social justice advocate. You'll probably catch me at different events trying to represent for the TIF so we can get our dollars. As a business psychologist, first and foremost, I'm all about the green. You feel me? Now, I'm trying to see how we can get our people in the green. And so that's one of the things that I really am passionate about. So you always see me where the money at, for real, trying to get us a piece of it. Now, And last but not least, I have to say this, and I'm super excited to be able to do so. I am a first-time father.
Oh,
And hey, man, hey, if y'all got some tips, y'all got some
congratulations.
tips, tricks, methods for me, please let me
Give
know.
all the tips. Ain't nothing baking
Hey,
over
you know,
here,
I don't know
baby.
nothing about it, man. I don't know nothing about it. And so
It's a
I'm
learning
super
experience. You
happy,
learn as you grow.
man. I know, just like life.
Exactly.
And so I'm super happy to have a daughter. I was one of those guys. I deserved a daughter. I deserve one. You know what they say. You know what they say. And so,
Interesting, huh?
yeah, man. And so I'm looking forward to the experience of having a girl and being super protective, overprotective, but just making sure that she make all the right decisions. And so,
I'm pretty sure she
Ia
will.
Larudis will be here soon enough. Can't wait.
I Layla. I probably said that wrong,
Yeah,
didn't I?
Ayala, but
Yeah,
okay, you'll get
we
it.
gonna
You'll
call her
get
Lele.
it. That was my nickname for Emmy. Um, so that's who I am in a nutshell. Was raised on the South Side, 119th and Stewart.
Shout out to the South Side.
I want to make mention that I was adopted at that time when I was raised out south, and so we'll get more into that as we go along. And I grew up on the West Side. I know all the West Side
Out
for
West
real.
290.
Austin, Garfield Park, um, Lawndale, the Holy City. We kicked it in all the little places, flipping on pissy mattresses. So,
Interesting.
yeah, we had fun back in the day, man. It was different, man. It was different.
I didn't flip pissy matches back in my day.
Oh man, hey, man, it was a thing,
Sorry.
though, I suppose. But that being said, that's kind of who I am. Again, just a huge community guy that's really trying to make something happen.
Awesome. So, DeAndre, what really inspired you or motivated you to do a podcast on mental health?
So, I want to make this very clear. I am no expert in mental health, right? Because I am not a clinician. I am not a psychiatrist. I am a psychologist, but it's a business psychologist. But I want to tell y'all that y'all are in luck because uh, I feel that void of mental health at work, right? And so there are various ways that business psychologists can pick up your mental wellness while you at the place where you're trying to make the donuts at. And so
Agree.
a lot of us don't think about the fact that work causes all type of stressors, all kind of anxious moments,
It
and
does.
and essentially there can be some traumatic experiences that occur that that can lead to a decrease in your mental stability. And so for me, I want to fill that void, and I want to be able to bring awareness to what a business psychologist is, so that more individuals can potentially have one right next to the boss's office, so he could understand better how to work with his employees, and so the company itself can increase in value. And so essentially that's what I do. That's what I know. I wanted to make mention of a construct that is very new inside psychology, but that I am studying very hard because I will introduce these principles to our community because I believe it can help. Now, there's this method, psychological capital, right? And so, not to get too technical, but it is born off of these constructs, variables of hope, efficacy, self-efficacy, resilience, and optimism. Now, I can get a lot further into that, but I just want y'all to hear what I said again. That's hope, self-efficacy, resilience, and optimism.
I hear
All
you.
things that can be very useful, not only at work, but in your personal life. And so
Agree.
I want to teach you some tips, tricks, and methods of raising that so that you can operate at a higher vibration, especially mentally. And so I guarantee you listen to me, you do some of these, you use some of these ideas, listen to Raven, um, you take in what she's telling you, and we guarantee you will be in a better position. So that's what I want to add. That's what I want to add to the podcast. I want to add my knowledge of the professional environment and mental health in a way that may not have even been thought about before,
Agree.
but we're gonna make it known.
Agree. I do agree with you with that. Many people go through many traumas and things at work, and they don't know how to deal with it. And I just feel like, business psychologists can really, help with many people that
Absolutely.
deal with, things at work. So
Absolutely.
that's what's up. Business psychologist.
Yeah, that's me.
That's different. I like it.
Absolutely.
All right. So where do you see this podcast going in, like, the next 6 months, next couple of years? Like,
All right. So 6 months. I just want some consistency, right?
Agreed.
I want to make sure that every Wednesday, every bi-weekly, and I'm gonna
Y'all
keep messing that
listen.
up. I
Bi-weekly,
swear,
you guys.
bi-weekly that you are tuning in at 11 a.m. to Raven, a daily dose of R&R by DeAndre Rudis,
And Raven Hoffman
and so I just really want to see
on Intellectual
consistency
Radio, you guys.
on the intellectualradio.com. Check it out where all podcasts are. But I just want to make sure that consistency is the name of the day for first 6 months. Just showing up, right? Being able to give y'all a daily dose, a weekly dose of R&R, but also being able to help somebody out there. And so
Agreed.
as we the months roll off, just want to
We're
make
gonna
sure
talk
that
about
we
many different
continue.
topics.
Absolutely,
Many
absolutely,
topics.
absolutely.
And if y'all got some topics that you guys want us to discuss, please message us via email,
Yeah.
social media, Instagram, Facebook. Send us some topics that you want us to talk about, and we will definitely talk about those topics and elaborate on, our experience,
Yeah.
how we dealt with it, and if we would have done something different, what we'll do different, and we can give you guys our opinions, but you guys make your own choice and decisions at the end of the day.
Absolutely. And life is a difference between choice and decisions. And we will teach you that too. Absolutely.
Agreed.
So yeah, 6 months, that's all. Just the consistency. I wanna show up. I want to continue to show up for my people and make sure that I do so. And so 2 years from now, just able to say we made a difference,
We
right?
made it.
We just made
I
a
wanna I
difference.
want us to
Like
go speak
you know what I
at
mean?
many
Like
mental health conferences.
that's what I'm
We're
saying.
gonna
Just
go to Atlanta, to Miami, to New York, and just speak to many people. About
absolutely,
that's the
absolutely.
goal. Love, acceptance, and growth, and we gonna
Absolutely.
grow each and every
Absolutely.
day.
And so obviously that's the goal when you do this type of work, just to inform individuals, educate them, and save a couple lives if we granted the ability to do so. And so 6 months out, consistency, 2 years out, we save somebody.
Agree.
You know what I'm saying? Um and I'm looking forward to doing so. I definitely enjoy doing this type of work. Again, I'm an educator, so whatever I can do to educate my Black people, my community that I love so much,
Yes.
um, I just want to make that happen. So
My next question for you is, not trying to get too deep, but I got to get a
yeah.
little deep. So, have you ever dealt with mental health in your personal life? And if so, how did you deal with it?
Well, like I said in the intro, I definitely was adopted. And it was the best experience of my life, guys. I'm not gonna lie to you.
He
Like
irritated.
I no, but for real, I had a wonderful adoptive family. Listen, children are most developed, their synapses grow the most within the first 6 years of their life. So the most you can do to make sure that you have a successful child is give them all the love, the attention, everything they desire,
Agreed.
unless it costs way too much money. Give them everything you can within the first 6 years, because that is when children are most likely to be developed, right? And so
Agreed.
my first 6, 7, 8 years, I was adopted, but I had a wonderful family. But when I went to my mom's, though, the contrast in lifestyle, the fact that someone that I had seen on a daily basis that raised me, you know what I mean? The fact that my mom had a different way of giving love, right? That played a huge role into how I ended up treating individuals. So I drew in very closely, became very reserved. I'm an introvert. Opposite of the spectrum of a extrovert. And again, we'll speak on those things more.
Agree.
And so I became essentially very withdrawn from people. Was found it very hard to make friends. I treated women very poorly. Treated them poorly because I
And
was
that's why you
dealing,
got a daughter on the way.
man, man. And so I did all of that because of at one point it was just like the way that I felt about my mother, like I hadn't got a true explanation of why I had to be adopted and things like that. And it was very hard to cope with. And so I definitely acted out. And in fact, as early as I can remember, probably maybe 3 third grade, I remember having to see a psychiatrist as a kid because it was just wilding out and they didn't understand what was wrong. And eventually came out like, well, I want to go home. I want to go live with my mama, right? But I didn't know what that was like, and it definitely had an adverse negative effect. But that being said, I don't want to trash the life that I had growing up on the West Side because I don't know if y'all could tell, but I'm kind of like a hood nerd with it. You feel me? Like I switch back and forth so easily, and it's because I had a two different types of educations, and I appreciate both of them, and I appreciate every life experience I had because it was just it left room for me to grow.
Agreed.
And
That's what's
we
up.
growing daily,
That's
right?
how
So
exactly we
if
growing, learning, and
if somebody
developing
out
each and
there
every day.
listening and your past is not squeaky clean peaches and herbs, it can change today. It can change today. It can
Agree.
change
You
today.
can't dwell on the past as well. Like I just feel like, the past made you who you are as a person at the end of the day. Like you can only learn from the past. Like
Yeah.
don't take no L's in life. Every lesson that you have in life, those are learning lessons and it's preparing you for your future and it's
Yeah.
preparing you to be a better person and to be a better version of who you are at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
I don't regret anything from the past.
Nah, I can't say I got any regrets. And one might come up at some point, but I can't say I have any either. But I dealt with that. My mom herself, in turn, had to deal with some mental health issues. Se- a cou- Several months ago, moms called me up like, "Yeah, I'm pretty much finna commit suicide," and it wasn't as blatant like that, but it definitely felt like that, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
we don't think about the person on the receiving end when we deliver these type of messages. But
Agree.
my mom definitely tried to take some pills a couple months ago in her life because of things that she's dealt with and her traumatic experiences. Not my story to tell though, but it does affect me. Obviously, like mental health affects everyone around you, and so we need to be made aware of this. And
Yeah.
I love my mom with all my heart. You feel me? I'm a mama's boy, and regardless of how like my mom made me feel growing up and things like that, like not that will never change. And so seeing my mom hurting like that, and again, that's not my field per se, but I definitely want to try to help her any way I can. You know what I mean? It hurts, and so couple just a couple. And again, we're gonna get deep into this
We're gonna
thing
get
because we
deep
got a
into
life
it
of
later
experiences,
on. We
and
definitely gonna get
sometimes they
deep on
not
this
sometimes
podcast.
they're not singular, you know what I mean? But today is just an introduction, so I'm gonna give you surface level. But yeah, that's just a couple mental health events that I had to deal with,
Okay,
at least
so
adversely. Yeah.
have you ever went to therapy? How do you feel like, what's your outlook on therapy and why do you feel like the black community look down on seeking or going to therapy?
So for me, um well, I've seen probably four therapists. I was trying
Okay.
to count them up. I'm sorry, I was trying to count them up. But I will say this though. I am your typical broke college student. You feel me? So I had to navigate and figure out how to go see them. So
Baby,
a
we
lot of
all are.
our jobs are now offering EAP, employee assistance programs, where you can get access to therapists. Right? Sometimes they're 24-hour hotlines you could call if you have an issue, or they're therapists that you set up about 6 sessions and you can go see them. So that's what I chose to do. I set up about 6 sessions, 2 times, I believe, and I used my EAP while I was at UPS. And so please, if you have that, use that. Um, and the other cases were at the school. Obviously, we have that resource as well. And so you want to utilize that because you're paying for it. All my people in school, you're
Please
paying for it. You pay
utilize
for
your school
everything, okay?
counselors.
Use everything. Now, so for me, I talk and I think, but and so yes, I've seen therapists has tremendously helped point out some issues where I was previously dark in. And but I do want to say this: there is such a lack of black therapists in our community. Not the people that give out pills, but the people that can talk to you, that know the culture. So
Agree.
if you somebody that's aspiring to be a therapist for the black community,
Yes.
and I love you. I love you. And you should come up here and be on the show. You could be a guest. Let us know. You know what I mean? Again, hit us at Raven and Rudis on Facebook, Instagram,
Instagram,
Gmail
Gmail.
us, ravenandrudis@gmail.com. Send those questions. Send some comments, send some love. Send everything but your negativity. You feel me? Keep that to yourself.
Please
We
keep
don't
that
need
over there.
that.
We don't
We
need that.
don't
We ain't
need
got
that.
time for
And
that.
so
It's a whole new decade.
and so
It's 2020. Let it go.
real talk. And so yes, I have seen therapists, but the lack of black therapists concern me. I have never been able to talk to a black therapist, and I want to see that change. I want to see that change.
That's why I'm in school, to become that black
Hey,
therapist, and just trying to switch it up, change it up. I just feel like, if you to a school, you go to a school and it's like you go to a public school, there's nothing but what? Caucasian therapists.
yeah,
There's nothing
yeah,
wrong with that. But I
yeah,
just feel like our community, how can a Caucasian therapist relate to us?
yeah,
He or
yeah.
she don't understand what we've been through or what we go home to. And I just feel
Nah,
like if we switch it up and we got more black school counselors or black therapists starting their own business,
yeah,
and we just have somebody that we can talk to and vent to, that understand what area, what neighborhood we grew up in, and what we dealt with, and how most people are raised by their grandmothers because mom is on drugs or dad is locked up. And I just feel like a Caucasian male and
yeah.
woman, they can't relate to that.
Nah, they don't know the
they
culture.
they don't
They don't know the
understand,
culture.
our culture. And I just feel like,
Not even the culture. It's the
I didn't
culture.
experience that, but I just feel like I can understand what he or she has been through.
Yeah,
And I can go into
yeah,
more details on different topics in my life about what I experienced in mental health in more depth.
yeah,
But this is the interview session,
yeah,
and I just feel like
yeah.
we need that, and that's what I'm in school for, so I can become that licensed Illinois
Why
clinical
you doing it like that with the
therapist.
air quotes, man? Dang, no, you're gonna be that. You're gonna
License.
be that. You're gonna be that.
Agreed.
You're gonna be that. We see that. So the other question you asked was about the stigma and why it is
Yeah, why you think it's a
prevalent in our
stigma?
community.
Why black people don't seek therapy, and why is there such a stigma on mental health in the black community?
Man, you know what? I'm gonna go back to them slave days, and it's kind of essentially we inherited it, right? Where um when we were slaves, we didn't necessarily want to talk about the thing because we lived them, and we didn't want to share that experience, right? And so you keep those type of things bottled in, and closed up. And so we have continued to keep that tradition alive, right? um
Agreed.
I know somebody grandma out here done told them what goes on behind these doors, stay behind these doors in this house. And so in most cases, that's why the uncle be touching on the niece, and ain't nobody saying nothing. But we know
Mm,
it's happening though. You know what I'm saying? Now, but for that young lady though, you know what I mean? Who's helping her? And so essentially the problem to me, I just like to look at it from a generational standpoint, and that again we inherited our present condition. Everything that goes on around us is something that we were born into, and mentally we are very much so locked and chained, and so we have to
agreed.
start to break there first. And obviously, that's what this podcast is about. It's about mental clarity, about mental health, mental wellness, mental stimulation, and just getting those chains off so that we can break this stigma, right? Because it exists. But it should not any longer. World is changing around us, and our community must change right along with it, or we will be the first to be wiped off. And somebody out there
Sadly.
know what I'm saying. I'm keeping it real. I'm keeping it real. We will be the first to be wiped off if we don't change the way that we are. And so this mental health thing is one of the very first ways we could do that. Break the chains. And so essentially that's why the stigma exists.
All right. Well, let me see. Anybody got any questions for DeAndre out there? I'm trying to see.
I see one person. Watch out me. Can I get a question?
Somebody, can I get a question?
Listen, so
Let me
real
see.
quick
What
though, I'm
else
gonna
can
let you
I ask?
formulate that. I do want to get in this point and talk a little bit about a business psychologist, if
Yes,
you don't mind.
please. Yes, please.
Okay.
He is a business psychologist,
Yes.
and please
Yes.
explain
Yes.
what do business psychologists do? What is
Yes.
like
Yes. Yes.
your
Yes.
job? Go ahead.
All right. All right. Thank you. Thank you for allowing me that. No, so business again, very niche, very up and coming field. Some people refer to us as IO psychologists. IO psychologist, which is industrial organization. And
Right.
so when we break that down and we look at our industrial side, we're talking about the people, right? We're talking directly about the workers that work at work, right? And so when we talk about a business psychologist, my job is to go into an environment, figure out why we are not performing the way as we could, and put our workers on the outside back into alignment, especially with our company goals. And so I do that by using psychometric techniques, psychoanalysts, a lot of personality assessments, just to figure out who you are, where you best belong, and where you're going. And so what we do as a result is we increase ROI, we increase effectiveness, efficiency, and we increase the way the health, mental health of our participants, because then they become more job satisfied. They are less likely to experience burnout, stress, and anxiety, things that again that come from work. And so on the O side, we look at change management processes. How do we take this company that is constructed as present and turn it to something else so that everybody inside that environment, that organization, can thrive, right? And so we do that by use of changing the culture. Again, using different psychoanalysis and techniques, things like that, how we assess what your organization is looking like. And we change that whole process for you so that you can run more efficiently and effectively. And so I very much so love the work that I do, the study. I'm a businessman through and through. And again, I am trying to promote us as a culture, us as Black people, into a realm of economic prosperity. And so whichever way that I can do that, I will do that. I will always share my tips, tools, and techniques while on the job so that you can become a better you. And I will also, and we'll get into this later, begin to offer coaching sessions, one-on-ones with me so that I can help you improve in whatever areas you feel that you're weak in, whether that's personally or even professionally, because it either or can be useful towards you gaining a little bit more in your pocket. And so that's what I want to do. And those are going to be free for some listeners. So make sure you listening. Make sure on that YouTube you like, subscribe, and comment, because that option will be available for you. And I really want to help some people out to get used to living a better life, not while they're at work, but also at home. And so we use a lot of techniques to stimulate your mental health while at work. And so just log on, just make sure that you always following us. Again, this is a daily dose of R&R. We'll be on bi-weekly. Got it right that time.
Bi-weekly
11 a.m.
on Intellectual Radio.
On Intellectual Radio. And you can find us where all podcasts are. And so that's kind of what an IO psychologist does, business psychologist.
So we help people that's also starting their own business, right?
Yes, I can help you start your own business. That is something that I want to do. Again, I'm about the money. But we are about to wrap. So we appreciate y'all just hanging on with us and listening. And again, we just met. So, if the chemistry
we still learning about each other.
I mean, give us time.
So thank you guys. Weekly dose of R&R. At the end of every podcast, we are going to leave you with a mental health tip for the day.
But today we can't get to it. We got to wrap. So in closing, we'll say love, acceptance, growth
is our mental health tip for the day.
Are the only exception.